Meow, I'm Kat. This is my pod. Welcome to PodKat. This is episode 3 on March 19th of 2020. The current focus of the podcast is to gain education on what's really going on in a pandemic, to provide some positive entertainment, and also to spread empathy. I have a very exciting guest this afternoon. Faith, would you like to tell us who you are and where you are?
All right. Well, hi, I'm Faith. I was one of Kat's little kittens or little puppies in our sorority. Kat was my pledge mom. I currently live in Denver, Colorado. It's blizzarding here right now, so it's a great day for self-isolation. I'm a accountant and then also just kind of sing on the side, but that also has been sidetracked as well. But yeah, I'm an accountant and I work for a CPA firm in the Denver area and get to work with a cool variety of clients from some cool sports owners to some startup companies. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. What right now is your new reality? Are you working from home? How are you affected currently?
Yeah, so I am working from home. I guess pretty much a week ago, I was in Laramie, Wyoming, and we got a notification saying basically that we're not allowed to travel anymore for work, or they even asked us for pleasure as well.
Where did you get the notification from?
I had no vacations planned because I'm very lame, but I was there on a client site, so, I got that kind of notification, and then I was at a client, and they were very nervous because, of the coronavirus and everything. And so we were driving back to Denver when we got that news. And then the next day they informed us that we're going to be shut down pretty much indefinitely. So we are working from home. I was feeling a little bit under the weather on Friday when I was back in town. So I worked from home just to be safe. And luckily I'm glad I did, because apparently there was someone in our office on Friday who has the coronavirus, and so we're making everyone was very nervous about it, but luckily we're all good here. Let's see, and yeah, I'm here working from home indefinitely. I'm using Zoom a lot and Teams, and that's how I'm staying in touch with everyone. And from work, we're doing, lunch trivia where we awkwardly all watch each other eat on a webcam and play trivia during lunch, which has been really fun.
That's really cute.
Just a lot of cool stuff like that to try to kind of have that human connection. But yeah, I'm working from home indefinitely.
So you are financially not currently affected as far as you're still having a paycheck come in?
Yes, I'm very blessed in that. Because I'm in accounting, everyone still needs their taxes done and stuff. So I have not been affected yet. We've had a few clients talk about potentially postponing some projects that we were planning on working on in the summer. But so far, I have not been financially impacted at all. Still have a job. Still have, the same hours goals and same bonus structures and everything so far. So I've heard our firm has not been hurt yet. So fingers crossed that we can continue, that businesses are still continuing to do work and stuff.
And what have you seen in your community as far as, have you been to the grocery store? Are you currently relying on any doctor's visits that have been postponed? Or are you noticing a uptake on traffic or a decrease in traffic?
The traffic has definitely decreased pretty significantly. I have been to the grocery store, and it is an adventure in and of itself. And I was like, if I was going to get coronavirus, it would be from this grocery store, because now so many people just running around grabbing things frantically. So that's been a little bit insane. And doctor's visits, I think I was supposed to have a dentist appointment soon. Don't have to do that. Luckily, I was actually able to go get to the doctor right before this all hit, and then they said, we'll see you next year. So I was very fortunate in that. instance. But yeah, I've not been impacted. Knock on wood, my health has been okay so far. So none of that's been pushed. I have a sinus infection right now, so I'm just trying to like survive as long as I can before I have to try to go to the doctor, just because I don't want to, they're busier than with a little silly sinus infection. So
yeah. So I'm asking people about their plans. It sounds like your financial plans. Are you saving away money even though you're currently employed, or do you have any plans financially, health, both physical and mental? And then we can come back to revisit fun, but kind of it sounds like you already have that implemented with the work trivia lunches.
So financially, actually, Kat, I haven't told you this, but I was actually home buying, or like house hunting. And really, I guess I live in Denver, so the housing market's really special. So I was really condo hunting because you can't really afford a house out here on typically a single income. But so yeah, I've been house hunting right now. And so my financial plans have actually just kind of been like on hold in the sense where I lost a lot of money in the stock market, which was very difficult. And so a lot of my down payment is kind of gone currently, but I'm hoping, the economy will kick back up eventually. And I've just been trying to save a little bit extra, but I've also been trying to be really generous on supporting local businesses. So I have been trying to order food out from like different restaurants that I very much value that I know are local. And then I've also been trying to support like some local businesses where they're offering sending care packages to different retail stores, or just everything's online. So I've been trying to do some of that as well. So yeah.
Okay. And then I'm asking people about positive things they've seen, and a negative and a positive, I think, is that you just had your birthday. Do you want to talk about how that was?
So that was really weird. I've had a really tough year. Like 2020 has not been my year, but I was kind of like around the like self-isolation and stuff, and I was like, well, they shut down all of the restaurants and bars on Monday. My birthday was on Tuesday. So that was kind of a bummer because we had plans to go out and sit on a patio and, try to practice social distancing, but also in a fresh air environment. But I was able to make it really positive because some of my former coworkers, they sent me a ton of gifts. Like, I've learned there's a company called Drizzly, and they will send you wine, beer, and liquor to your door. And so they sent me some wine, and I got some flowers from them, so that was really positive. And then we all did a FaceTime happy hour, and then my friends came over to my parents' house where we could still practice, some social distancing and spread out a little bit and stuff. And they all surprised me, so that was good. And we were able to order takeout from one of my favorite local pizza places, so that was all really positive. And it's that kind of fun middle ground between still trying to see each other and be safe, but also like kind of balancing it with like, okay, but then I'm only going to see like a certain group of people who I know what they've been up to, and also like not seeing grandparents, for example, or anyone that I know who's at a little bit higher risk.
Yeah, my grandmother's retirement home is shut down right now. She said that they're also testing them every day, sort of taking fever and stuff. So I don't know that everyone's getting a kit administered so much as making sure no one has fever or cough. I saw a really positive. I think Aaliyah told me about like birthdays where people are doing drive-bys. Like they put the teenage daughter in the car. It was her birthday, and they drove by houses, and people had like signs out for her. And I was like, that's really sweet.
That is really sweet. Yeah, that's really nice.
I've heard a lot of upbeat stories amidst while still trying to read the news and stay updated. But one of the big reasons I wanted to talk to you was about finance stuff, so you actually know what you're talking about, especially since we're going into tax season. And then any feedback you have about like, I still haven't applied for unemployment and I'm told I'm supposed to, so talk to me about money.
Yeah, so I would say first, like, and foremost, what I'm trying to just tell myself too, because I'm guilty of this, but just to not panic.
Yeah.
I think I think that this too shall pass. And so in terms of like for example, we'll start with like kind of like investing in the stock market. Probably if you want to start investing, this probably isn't a terrible time to start putting in your money, because if you can hold it for, maybe like a year, in theory, you should be able to get a really good return on it. Mm-hmm. Because of how low the stock market is currently. So I would say, don't pull out your money unless you absolutely, have to survive. I would say that's kind of like the first big thing that I would do is just hold tight with your money, or if you have money to spare, investing probably isn't a bad thing right now, just because of the fact that I truly believe that it's going to go up once we're all able to leave the house and actually, talk to people again and go shopping and go, and buy things outside of just groceries. So I think that would be really good. And then in terms of the like unemployment stuff, for the state of Colorado, I know they've had record applications, and they're doing like a bunch of different things to support small businesses and to support people who have unemployment. I heard that Jared Polis is our governor. He's trying to talk with different like major landlord companies to basically say, hey, like, if you can hold off, like basically not kicking out someone because they can't pay their rent, just because this time in our lives is very special. And it's not maybe that people just are being negligent and not having a job. It's actually, or like, they're not trying to have a job, I guess is the correct word. But like they are, like people can't work because there's no restaurant to be open, or there's no retail place, or even some churches are laying people off, or other companies and just stuff like that. Like I have a friend who's a consultant, and he just got laid off at work because his big thing is working with restaurants, and they've lost like a ton of contracts. So he was like one of the first people laid off, which is a big bummer. But like I think it's really I think right now like it's really cool just to check it out, because the unemployment benefits are a lot different state by state. So I can't speak, for example, to California, but I would say, the sooner you apply, I feel like there's so many good things going on in the world, and I think we're all starting to see, like, I think we had a big fundraiser in Colorado to help small businesses, and we've already, I think, like, as of, like, yesterday afternoon, they've already raised, like, almost $250,000 or something. So the communities are really coming together to help out each other, and I think I will say that I think at least Colorado has been stepping up a lot for the unemployment issue that is resulting from basically shutting down restaurants and bars and stores and stuff. So I think that's a big positive. And then kind of my sweet spot, which is taxes. We're delaying it by 90 days for tax payments.
I was going to ask you if that was true. I heard that. Yeah,
so it's now official, but it's kind of weird. What I would say is, like, if you owe taxes, like, the IRS.gov website is a really good resource, and it's pretty easy to use, and they'll kind of tell you, because I think there is an income bracket, so but really and truly, Kat, like, most of our friends aren't mega millionaires. But basically, as long as you're not, like, I think it's over, like, a certain income bracket of, I think it might even be, like, $300,000 or something like that, like, you can defer your tax payments for 90 days. And so that's if you don't owe anything. Now, if you do your taxes and you have a refund, I would say apply. I've heard that they also might be delaying out payments for refunds. But if you're already, that way, one, your tax is already done, but two, you then have a chance of maybe having a little bit extra cash in your pocket going forward. And then the federal government is talking about different relief packages. I haven't like followed it a ton, but I've heard up to potentially like $3,000 for a family of four. So there's a lot of like potential cash that might be coming for us. And then I know and then the last thing is if you're having like issues with money too, I know there's a ton of resources. Like my church in Denver is doing fundraising and different like GoFundMe accounts. There's, we're doing, I think it's called Project Renew, So that other one is like unofficial, the kind of like GoFundMe pages. But then there's like a Project Renew, which is where we're basically going and getting groceries for people who maybe can't leave the house or are afraid to, picking up prescriptions, stuff like that. So there's, I think, a lot of resources out there right now. I think it's still truthfully very murky just because things are happening like day by day. So like whenever, you post this, it could be completely different, and everything I could say is completely false. But I think we're in a spot right now where I think the government is understanding that the American people are at need, and they are stepping up. And I'd say, although it's flawed because everything in this world is flawed, I'm very impressed by their capacity to want to try to help the people right now. And I think that's overall positive.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I love actually doing my taxes early, so I'm pretty much almost done. But it is helpful to know for people who are kind of unable to function right now that like the tax thing is going to be delayed. I was curious about, so my company has told me to file for unemployment because the earliest I could be back at work is April. But my understanding with unemployment is that you need to continue to prove that you're job searching every week. Is that different for this particular situation?
Oh gosh, and I honestly don't know if I could really speak to that, just because of as I'm sure. If I worked for the Department of Labor and Unemployment for various states, I would say, you do not have to show that you're continuing to try to find a job because there's nothing really out there.
Yeah.
I am trying to just see if I can quickly pull up like the Colorado guide, which I'm hoping isn't too big. Let's see. Oh, it's 7 millibytes or megabytes.
So it sounds like you're continuing to, like, the stock market affected you, but you're saying that people should kind of hold tight with their finances right now, but not.
Yeah, if you're at a place where you need to withdraw it because, you're at. So, actually, one more thing about the finance thing. My dad works for Xcel Energy, and they're not, if you cannot pay your power bill, and I think most states are doing this and most companies are doing this, but if you can't pay your power bill, they're not going to come and shut you off. And I think that's also the case with most internet companies right now, I believe, as well.
My city has suspended, like, giving tickets for. You have to move your car certain days of the week in Los Angeles based on street sweeping, and I heard that they were going to suspend those sort of non-essential city operations.
Yeah, you'll laugh at this bit. So do you remember about Boulder? Remember all the crazy people in Boulder who would you park your car and you'd be standing in line to go pay, to get one of those little tickets, and they'd walk up and start writing you a ticket, and you're like, "Hi, I'm right here, I'm in line."
Yeah, it's very
give me
intense.
A second. They said that they are suspending tickets now for 20 minutes. So you're allowed to go in and grab your food and leave. And I thought that was hilarious. 20 minutes, Boulder. So generous.
Very generous.
But going back to I would just say everyone should just hold tight in that. If you can keep your money in the stock market and if it's already in there, if you're already invested. For example, our best friend Katrina, I forced her to open up a Roth. Probably now it's almost a year and a half ago, and I was like, well, first off, you can't really touch it, it's for retirement, but she's also been investing in shorter term bonds. She should not pull that out until she absolutely needs to.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
for me, I'm holding on to my I'm holding on, hoping that it will increase a little bit, so that way I have more money for a down payment for a house.
I grew up playing the Neopets stock market, so I know a lot about that. You gotta hold it out. That's
Neopets really did, and they also taught you how annoying real pets can be too. Right?
They really prepared me for the world. Well, one thing I wanted to ask about was just what you're looking forward to after this. What are things that you have noticed you're missing that you just want to do again?
Well, I'll probably start crying, just so you know, because I'm a crier. But I really miss human contact. Being an extrovert in this is hard as heck, and I'm very, very fortunate that people are patient enough to answer my phone calls or answer my FaceTimes, especially when they're maybe oh my gosh, go away, I'm working or something. But I've been able to FaceTime a lot with people. So I'm just so looking forward to hugging again, which I know is so stupid, but I just like really just miss like hugging people and just, you know, just being able to like lay your legs on someone and stuff, like just stuff like that I miss a lot. It's very isolating, and it's very crazy how important physical touch is for people, and I'm not a physical touch person normally. That's not high on my love language list.
I was out on my morning run and, distancing from everyone. There was really no one to distance from, but I would see people walking their dog, and it's so my nature to be like, can I pet your dog? Can I pet your dog? But I was like, I can't pet their dog.
Yeah, so it's really sad. But, I guess another good positive thing is, I don't know if California is doing this, so I'm curious your thoughts, but in Denver, they're really pushing for people to foster dogs right now because a lot of people are home.
Yeah.
So I applied to be a foster for a dog, fully planning on foster failing, like just putting that out there. But yeah, so like I think like that's been another cool thing, and so that's how people can get their physical contact. And then also I miss singing too. We canceled my choir concert, and I had a big like duet from an opera that I was supposed to perform in May, and now they've rescheduled that concert to May of 2021. So, I just like miss singing and just miss the community that you get from singing as well. And so it's just, I think I just miss like being out in society and just miss like being able to shake people's hand or hug them and just have that interaction. That's very hard.
Absolutely. And I'm going to have an episode soon. I want to talk to somebody about, in my mind, I'm so on board with what you're saying. I don't like being home alone. My spouse works all day right now, and I'm like, please, I just want you to be home with me. But I'm kind of surprised. It didn't occur to me that there are people who are like wanting their own space right now. Maybe they are bunkered down with people who are exhausting to them, or maybe they love those people but they just need some room, and I hadn't even thought of that. So I might talk about introverts, extroverts, that sort of thing.
I think that'd be very interesting, because
I'm like, where are the people? Let's all connect. And some people are like, girl, I need my space right now, and I need to like really go into my shell to recharge. But the last thing I wanted to ask you was just about some recommendations. If you have any books, movies, podcasts, games that you are wanting to share with people.
Yeah, well, I'm really into puzzles, so I am going to start a puzzle that I had done like a couple of years ago. So I've been doing that. My other favorite game, you're going to laugh at this, Kat, I love exploding kittens. I think it's the funniest game ever.
Was there anything that you wanted to address in our podcast here before we wrap up that I didn't ask you about?
I would just say, like, I was just reading the unemployment website for Colorado.
Yeah.
And they don't have anything specifically talking about trying to, anything specifically about about trying to do job searching. So I'm guessing they're waiving that for now due to the extenuating circumstance. So I would say, definitely
good to know.
Don't feel like you won't qualify, because I'm also guessing they're doing a mass sweep of accepting it because of this. And then the other thing is so there was this rule for taxes where you would get basically, I don't know if your health care wasn't affected at all by the fact that you're technically not working, but if you for some reason don't have that also got waived. So you used to have to pay like a penalty and like pay extra taxes when you filed, saying, oh, I didn't have health insurance from I don't know, like March to let's hope we're all done with this by May, but to May, that's been waived.
Okay.
Now I also hope that everyone is keeping everyone covered right now due to the current situation, but just apply. So I would say most states are doing that. I think also just call your grandparents. Give them, try to FaceTime them. It'll be entertaining at very least.
I did.
So.
Yeah, and that, I guess the last question I had was just, who do you want me to talk to next? Who do you think would be interesting to hear from right now?
Oh, well, so you kind of already have the teacher angle, but I was thinking Zoe. Because she also is a Mammoth dancer, so she did, so Mammoth is the indoor lacrosse league in Denver, and kind of like the feeder up to the Denver Nuggets dance team. So it'd be kind of interesting because she's kind of lost both jobs. Not really lost, but both have been postponed. So I think that would be kind of interesting, and she's been very, very bored too.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my gosh, all my jobs are aren't all of a sudden in 2 days they're both canceled. I don't know what to do. So I think that would be interesting. And she's a high school teacher.
Yeah.
At Boulder High, so that would be kind of cool. And then maybe even talking to I don't know, a med school student like Renzo or Jesse.
Yeah. Beautiful. I appreciate your time today.
Yeah.
I wanted to say love to all. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Thank you to everybody for listening. And Faith, would you like to have the final meow?
Yes. Meow.